Shout out to all my conscious writers out there. It's your boy Ian, aka the Writing Renegade, here today to talk about how to finish your book. And this video is not for people who have a book within them or are thinking about writing a book. And if you guys want to keep up to date with this series and see the daily videos I'm doing this year on writing and literature, subscribe. I'm trying to be a independent, giving researcher of knowledge so that we can all create a more conscious and knowledgeable world. So this video is for people who are trying to have a completed and revised book. And when I say revised, I mean a book with contrasting sentence structure and layers of syntax and meaning and beautiful segmentation of information or plot or characterization. And one of the biggest mistakes people make in the self-publishing world is that they send out shoddy work. They put out, and people who send out their work to publishers, they send out work that is not completed. And for your work, your book to have that, to reach its full potential, you're going to have to put 5 to 10 times the amount of time in revising than you did doing your first draft. So think about how long it took you to do your first draft and how long of a slog that was. You're going to have to do 5 to 10 times more. And people do not want to hear that. But all the authors back here on the shelves who are the greats, who are remembered in all fields, they had multiple drafts of their book. And when I mean multiple drafts, some of them had multiple alternative drafts of every chapter. Some people would spend years just formulating chapter after chapter and then piecing it all together. And there's thousands of variations in their novel or their book. But we're not talking about that today. We are talking about how to complete your book, how to finish your book this year. And the reason you haven't finished it already is because of a clarity issue, because of an alignment issue. Most of us don't suffer a lack of motivation when there is a huge incentive in front of us. If I said you need to run a mile for $1 million, even if you're out of shape and have a bad knee, you're probably going to run that mile and you're going to make it happen, no matter how bad your knee hurts or how tired you are. But when it comes to our book and it's this vague thing, especially if we don't already have a publishing deal for it's our first novel and we're just getting into this, it's hard for us to really make that commitment and understand what's going to happen on the other side. And what's going to happen on the other side, everybody, is if you're actually doing this for real, if you're not in this for money, if you're not at this for greed or to look cool or to get laid, you're going to produce a conscious piece of content. And I think that you're struggling and watching this video right now about the book you haven't completed because you lost focus on that potential. And you started focusing on something else. You started focusing on the story too much, or what people are going to think, or what the story is going to give you, or who you're going to send it off to, or if people are going to care about this scene. And you haven't tapped in to that potential and aligned back with that energy signature. When this idea came to you and the first buddings of it happened, it was a light and peaceful state. But after having maybe completed a first draft or getting stuck at certain stages or not having the quality or quantity that you feel comfortable with, doubt starts to creep in. Other things to project on start to happen. You start to think about, sometimes I start to think about presenting my book to a group of people. I'm like, wow, I'm going to have like a reading or something. Why am I thinking about that? That has nothing to do with this story because I am a conscious author. I'm trying to change this world and you need to be too. If you're not writing something that can change the world, that's going to make people act differently and feel differently and become and evolve into something different, then put it down, everybody. You're doing it for the wrong reason and you're saturating the market. It's time to get out. Put it down. It's over. And you don't have to do it this book. We are all beginners, and some of us are actual beginners, and we're just getting going. And you're going to have to put out some bad work or some shoddy work a couple times to be able to reach that highest potential. But if that's not your goal, if your goal is not mastery of the writing craft, then what are you writing about? No one cares. I'm just going to be honest right now. And aligning yourself back with that higher purpose that you are going to be doing this so that one day you can reach pinnacle creativity, then that is motivating in and of itself. And once you've taken care of that, and the best way to take care of that, everybody, is through journaling. And journaling 2 pages a day on horizontal unlined paper. And when I mean journaling, just writing your thoughts, anything you want. It could be about anything. It could be about your dog taking a shit, this morning on the tile. It could be about anything. But get the thoughts out and get flowing. Get moving and get aligned. And then after you get out your thoughts, work on some alignment stuff in the journaling. Write about how you feel, about the story, why you're stuck, what feels right, what feels wrong, what went wrong, what threw you off course. Sometimes it's just one event. Sometimes I'm writing and I've been writing for weeks and I have to go to some social event, or I have a blowout fight with a friend or something. I don't think I've had a blowout fight with a friend in ever, but something maybe happens, and I can look back 2 weeks later at like my diminished productivity and link it to that. So it's maybe not your fault, but it's your fault that you are not aligned, because if the alignment is there, then you have the foundation. And what do you have the foundation for, you may be asking? And you have the foundation for massive action. And that is the key to getting this done. Because if you believe me, and I think I'm right, and the people behind me speak to that fact also, because I'm going to pull a random book off the shelf. Here it goes. What do we got? We have Stendhal, The Red and the Black. And this is an older book. This is, I think, early 1800s, actually. Mid 1800s. Anyway, this book got revised many times over by editors and by the publishing house and by this author. I don't know what Stendhal does, but this book is good enough to know that there a lot of work that went into this, probably years. If I looked it up right now, if I looked up Stendhal, The Red and the Black, I'm going to do it right now, everybody, live. I'm going to see that his writing habits, this guy was a hard worker. Practicer of realism, the commitment. Let's look at his daily habits. What are your daily habits, everyone? This is what you got to do. You got to look at these people. And you got to understand that this is what they're doing. A daily routine. There it is, everybody. The daily routine of writing and shaving and clear-headedness. Boom, everybody. So that was a little bit of an interlude, but once again, this is a great book, everyone. And it actually goes with another great book. I read this because there's a book called Reading for Plot out there by Peter Brooks, which was one of the best critical theory books about reading and understanding plot. So if you guys need some help on plot, there you go. And then he analyzes the psychoanalytical lens of this book. But massive action can be taken when the alignment is there. So step into that alignment. Focus on that. Don't focus on the book. Forget about the book for a second and do some journaling. Spend some time in nature. Reconnect spiritually. Sometimes, most of the time, when you're stuck or stagnant, going head into the problem isn't going to solve it. Most of the time, it's another area of your life that you might think is totally unconnected that will help get you back to the book, as long as you have a foundation and you're just not a lazy ass. For instance, that's what MFA programs are. That's what writing programs are. When I went through writing programs in university, all the levels, from community college all the way on, it motivated me to revise and put out good stories and push myself, because I knew I would be getting roasted by a class of underachievers, good writers, and just a random mishmash of people who are going to be looking at your work. And suddenly, though, it was a social element, because I would hang out with a couple of my friends and we would shoot the shit, and I would write stories that were just really crazy. And I would be talking with my friends and we'd be having a good time. And I would go home after that and drink a cup of coffee at like 9 or 10 after, hanging out and smoking some weed, and write some of the best writing I've ever done, because I got out of my head and had a good time, and then came home and I was just in the mood. It wasn't this serious thing. And then in the revising period, is when the magic happened. I would get these crazy ideas and these crazy stories and this really weird stuff, but then I would be sober revising. And, you've maybe heard that moniker, write not sober and revise sober. I might do a video about, revising or writing sober and revising it while under the influence of something, but that's a different story. So first of all, alignment, and then that's going to set you up for massive action. And the best way to take that massive action is to wake up early. And I know you hate to hear it. I know that's not the solution. I know you have all this other stuff going on. And I just told you that I sat and wrote at night, but you are probably not the anomaly. You're probably not the night owl anomaly that we see. And drinking coffee and staying up late, it's bad for your body. If you're working a job, if you're not a full-time author already, unless you're trying to walk the walk and die early, then you got to wake up at 5 or 5:30 in the morning. And you may have kids. There may be a million obstacles. You may get off. You might be a shift worker. I don't know. But you got to get up that early so you can get that time in. Before I have to go to my day job, hour and a half. I have to leave at 7 o'clock, 5:30 I'm up. So I guess like an hour and 15 minutes. Boom. That time is golden. Then I get to work and guess what? I'm not fucking working, man. I don't care if I get fired. There's always a million other jobs. I'm writing. I'm trying to get things going. I'm reading. I'm doing other things. I'm not. What do you think this is, everybody? We are writers. Are you a writer or are you an employee at this random corporation? Are you afraid or are you a writer? You got to read. You got to write. This is a whole other topic, but it's not, because you have to start taking massive action. That starts with getting up early, staying organized, and putting in the work. Because once you're aligned, then all that seems a lot easier. So this is one part of a mini-part series. So the two things we talked about today are alignment and taking massive action. And the best way to align is to journal. Spend time in nature, but journal your thoughts out. Journal with prompts. Journal and talk to other people about what you're journaling. Get it out of your system and feel it. And sit there and journal about something and then sit and think. Be like, do I really want to take this approach? And the reason your alignment got off is because you have given in to lower base consciousness thinking, or you got too high. Like you went so high up into the ether with meditation or with life or with sex that you can't come down. And you got to come down if you're going to sit here and be base enough to write. Because you can be very elevated and write, but if you get too elevated, things get too wooey, and it's like things, the oneness prevents contrast, and contrast is the most important thing while writing. So second thing you need to do is take massive action. Best way to do that is wake up early to bed, early to rise, get it going, start your day, quit caffeine. I have a video on that. And you guys know the business. Show up every single day, keep going. Tell me about the conscious art you are creating, only if it can change the world. The only thing I want to read or see or promote is content that can change the world. Something that is different. Something's not the same old book or same old story. So I know you guys can do it. Once again, subscribe, leave a comment. Tell me what you guys think about this video. Any other ways that we can finish a book, what other tips you have. I'm going to be doing multiple videos, so I would love to, bounce some ideas with you guys and present them, and tell me what you guys need and I'll hook it up. I'm doing daily videos. Peace.